We're still investigating the linked Clinton email scandal because we didn't know about the pay-to-play scandal at the Clinton Foundation until we uncovered the Clinton email server on which the key documents were residing. And to that end, as I've talked about previously, we have 2 federal court judges who have granted Judicial Watch discovery. In the case of Judge Emmett Sullivan, who granted us discovery that saw witnesses come in 2016, he overrode the objections of Hillary Clinton last month, who didn't want to answer some questions by Judicial Watch under oath about her email system. And Judge Sullivan overrode those objections and ordered her to respond to these 2 key questions within 30 days. And as I said before, the Justice Department's kind of AWOL. It's even worse than AWOL because they were actually trying to come down on the side of Hillary Clinton and suggesting to the court that she didn't need to answer some of the questions we wanted answered. Thankfully, the court rejected the Justice Department's request. But can you imagine sitting in there in the courtroom, because I get to go to these hearings as I'm the client. I'm Judicial Watch's corporate representative, and Judicial Watch attorneys are arguing for us in court. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching this Justice Department defend Hillary Clinton from having to answer additional questions about what she was up to at the State Department with her emails. And so the 30 days that Mrs. Clinton had to answer the questions under court order were going to run on Monday, and Mrs. Clinton filed her answers today with the court. And in some ways the answers aren't surprising, but they put her on the record and under oath, which is more than what Congress is doing, which is more than what the Justice Department wants to do. And it's your Judicial Watch that's doing this work. And Judicial Watch's litigation resulted in Hillary Clinton having to answer previous questions by Judicial Watch under oath, and now these additional questions under oath. So this is the filing. It's a government filing, and I'm going to read to you her specific answer on, I guess, one particular question that I think you'll be interested in, because it shows you, it's a little bit lengthy, the response, because it shows you the difficulties that we have in getting answers from Hillary Clinton. Excuse me, this is the filing. And, excuse me while I get the page. Okay, so this is the first set of questions she was supposed to answer. Describe the creation of the ClintonEmail.com domain name and the decision to set the domain up on the existing server, I guess the Clinton email server, the date it was decided to create the domain and set it up on the existing server, who made those decisions, and when the domain became operational on the existing server. So essentially the background is, supposedly the Clinton office had an email server and they set up this specific domain name for Hillary Clinton to benefit from by having this secret email system for her, Huma Abedin, and actually her daughter Chelsea Clinton was also on that system. And her response is as follows, at least partially. Subject to, and without waiving the foregoing objections, and I won't torture you with all the objections, Secretary Clinton answers as follows. As Secretary Clinton prepared in late 2008, early 2009 to serve as Secretary of State, she was aware that President Clinton's office had set up an email system, but she had no role in this process. How did she become aware if she had no role? I don't know. Secretary Clinton knew that President Clinton's staff had recently upgraded that system. So she knew that too. Secretary Clinton does not know what equipment that system used, how it was created, who decided that the system needed to be upgraded, or who else had accounts on the system. Secretary Clinton believes that one of the president's aides, Justin Cooper, set up the system. Secretary Clinton decided to use a Clinton email account on the system for the purposes of convenience, Secretary Clinton recalls that the ClintonEmail.com account was created in early 2009. Although Secretary Clinton does not have specific knowledge of the details of the creation of the account, the domain or the domain name, her best understanding is that Mr. Cooper set it up. So she focuses on this Clinton aide as setting it up. But the heart of the question is, why did she use it? what was she doing? And she said it was for convenience. Now that answer is belied by the evidence and the testimony. The email system she had was a mess. It had to be rejiggered all the time. It was, I think, one point collapsed and had to be reset up again. On top of that, there were continuous complaints within the agency about the inability to communicate with her, and she was aware of that. She was also warned not to use this unsecure system. She did it anyway. And even, I think in one of the testimonies we received, and maybe it was from Aberdeen or Mills, or certainly one of the documents we had, they show that it was impairing her ability to do her job. And of course, she had multiple devices. So the idea that there was convenience involved here is, I think, not credible. And especially when you use this as an excuse to avoid record-keeping requirements under federal law, responding under law under the Freedom of Information Act, responding to congressional inquiries and investigators from federal agencies internally and externally. To use the idea that it was just convenience, it doesn't ring true. And that's why Judicial Watch will be seeking additional evidence and discovery from Mrs. Clinton and others about the way this system was set up. And we have the ability to do that thanks to this discovery order that I previously discussed with you by Judge Royce Lamberth, a different judge, who called Mrs. Clinton's email system one of the gravest offenses to our transparency laws. And so he wants to know whether or not that system was set up to evade FOIA. So he doesn't necessarily buy at face value that this was just a mere convenience issue. Certainly there's enough evidence to grant us discovery to explore whether that's true or not. And that's what Judicial Watch plans to do. This discovery that Judge Lamberth granted us has to be planned out with the Justice Department and the State Department, and it will be due next Wednesday. So I'll have the details as to who will want to question and what documents we'll want next week for you. But isn't this amazing that it's Judicial Watch doing all this heavy lifting on this? This scandal isn't going away. Hillary Clinton isn't going away.